sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. 19th century, England. Edward Mordrake had it all. He was intelligent, a gifted musician, stunning, and he was rich. However, he was a tortured soul, and it sort of had to do with the fact that he had a second face on the back of his head. In addition to being a medical anomaly, this face seemed to relish in Edward's torment. When Edward laughed, the face would frown. When Edward cried, the face would smile. It was said if you walked behind Edward, the eyes on the back of his head would follow your every movement. So yeah, this face was a hindrance. This face was called his devil twin. He begged surgeons to remove it, but the procedure would have been too complicated and virtually impossible. So Edward became a shut-in. He refused to see anyone, even his own family, and the face would keep him awake at night. According to him, it would whisper tormenting things to him. And at the age of only 23, Edward committed the S-word. This story has made its rounds on the internet, backed up by this convincing picture that's actually a wax sculpture. This story was made even more popular, because on the 4th season of American Horror Story Freak Show, Mr. Mordrake made an appearance. A lot of people still think that Edward was a legitimate medical anomaly, but he is a fictional character. Mr. Mordrake made his debut in 1895, when the Boston Sunday Post published an article written by Charles Lawton Hildreth. In this article, Mr. Hildreth also details the Fishwoman of Lincoln, half human, half crab, the Norfolk Spider, and of course, Mr. Mordrake. Like many other strange newspaper articles from this time, all of this was a blatant lie passed as truth to increase sales. And with freak shows making their way across the country and globe, it was a very clever take on a very real phenomenon. And in addition to all of this, a pair of physicians, Dr. George Gould and Dr. Pyle, included the story of Edward Mordrake in this book. It is called Anomalies and Curiosities of Medicine. And what was their source? This freaking article. So there is not a medical condition exactly like Mordrake's, but there is one that comes close. Craniopithecus parasiticus. I think I said that right. This condition is extremely rare, and most infants with this condition do not survive childbirth. However, arguably the most famous case of this condition was that of the two-headed boy from Bengal, who was born in the 1780s. Reportedly, the midwife that was assisting in this delivery was so horrified that she threw him into a fire. He was burned, but survived. And this boy's parents paid people to catch a glimpse of him, so he was less of a son, more of a source of income. And sadly, this boy's life was cut short at the age of 4, when he was bit by a cobra, and I guess his skull is in a museum somewhere in Scotland. Also, around the time that this article was published, there was a man named Pasquale Pignon, who traveled around with the Cells Floto Circus, and he was a part of their freak show. He had a benign cyst or tumor on the top of his head, but a mold was placed on top of this growth to give the illusion of a second face. I couldn't find out much about this guy, but one source said after his time with the circus manager paid to have that cyst removed. So yeah, there's a silver lining to this story after all. Let me know you made it this far by leaving me an emoji in the comments. Like this TikTok. And if you're new, don't forget to follow me, Goofy.
When I was 19 years old, I was homeless. I was working 3 jobs. One of them was in a gym, which was a good thing because I had a place to shower and clean up. On very rare occasions, I was able to crash on people's floors of their apartments, but 99% of the time, I slept on the 7 train. One cold February, I was on the train with my sweatshirt, sweater, jacket, and duffel bag, pretty much everything I owned, trying to get some sleep. Another homeless man got onto the train and sat across from me and just started to stare at me. I had so many nights of violence and fighting and danger, all I thought to myself was, crap, it's about to get real again. And it got real, just not the way I expected. He took a long stare at me and he said, "Yo, bro, you don't belong here." I said, "What makes you say that?" He said, "The light around you, your energy. You're not supposed to be here." "It's your eyes," he said. "You're starting to give up. Stop seeing yourself here. That's the problem." I was like, I don't see myself here. This is just where I am right now. No, he said. "You see yourself here, I can tell. And if you see yourself here, this is where you're going to stay." I said, "Well, you're here. What does that mean?" He said exactly what I said to you. He said, "I gave up. I'm going to die soon. When I look in the reflection, I see in my eyes someone who sees themselves here. I'm stuck. You're not." I said, "So what do I do?" He said, "Where do you want to be? Where do you see yourself?" I said, "I want to be somewhere warm, that smells good, with a full belly, where I feel safe." He said, "Then see that, and that's where you're going to end up. Bro, trust me." He starts to get off the train at the next stop. I said, "Hey man, what's your name?" He looks me dead in the eye and he said, "Gabriel, like the angel." The very next day in the gym, a woman that I had known for many years starts to walk out. She turns around at the desk and says to me, "Do you know anybody that's looking for a place to live?" I laughed, but I started to tear up also, and I said, I am, but it's a long story. I told her a little bit about what I was going through. She took a long pause and she said, can you clean? I said, yeah, I can clean. She said, well, I need a reliable roommate, someone that can kind of help me feel safe in my apartment. If you clean my apartment and if you come to my job and clean my warehouse, you got a place to live. I moved in 3 days later. She was like a big sister to me. She took great care of me, and that place was warm and it smelled good. After about 2 months, when I kind of got back on my feet, I tried to pay her rent every single month. She never cashed a single check. When I was 19 years old, an angel named Gabriel taught me on the 7 train, even when you're in your darkest place, don't give up. See yourself in a better place. You might be surprised.
What would you do if I randomly got into your passenger seat?
Oh, hell no. Nope. Sweetie, there's 2 things that scare me in this world. God and a pissed off redhead. She'll kill me and you both, bitch. Get out.
Well, it's official. The moment has happened. That moment where I can no longer relate to what these dipshit ass kids are doing these days. Now let me explain to you what I'm talking about. Yesterday, me and my girlfriend had an amazing day. We ran errands, we got coffee, went to Kohl's, she got to go shopping, went to eat at Texas Roadhouse. It was a great day. We finally get home and we're getting ready for bed because I have work at 6 in the morning and she's got errands and stuff to do tomorrow. It's 10:30 at night, we're laying in bed and I hear a beat on the door like it's the fucking police. So I jump into pure protection mode and I do the same thing that I do every time I hear a bump in the night. Reach by my bedside table, grab my Savage 12-gauge tactical shotgun, and I'm sweeping through the house like it's fucking Call of Duty. When I finally finish pretending to be a Navy SEAL and I make it out my front door, I realize it's just a group of high school kids running around beating on doors in my neighborhood the night before Halloween. So naturally at this point, I did what any sane man in my position would do. I jumped in my truck and I chased those motherfuckers down because nobody's gonna knock on my fucking door at 10:30 at night when I'm trying to sleep. By the time I caught up to them, I slammed on my brakes, threw my truck in park, they all hit the ditch, and by the time I got to them, they were about as scared as I was trying to finger bang Stacey Thompson at the very first school dance I ever went to. So they're terrified, I'm irate, and I am just laying into them, giving them this cuss-filled rant about how there's kids here, and not in my neighborhood, and I'll call the cops. And it was at that moment that I realized that it had happened. That I had officially crossed over that bridge where I am no longer cool or relatable or understand why kids do the things that they do. And the thing is, I did stuff like that as a kid. I did stuff worse than that as a kid. But as an almost 30-year-old adult now with a daughter, a girlfriend, a home, a life that I'm trying to build, I don't see things in the same perspective. And kids, they don't see that stuff. They only see things from the perspective of, is it going to be cool? Is it going to be fun? Can I get away with it? So to the group of kids that I put the literal fear of God in last night, you know, I understand. I do. I get it. I know you guys were just cutting up, trying to have some fun. I really do get it. While I'm not going to say I'm sorry, what I will say is not this fucking house. On a serious note, I will be handing out candy at my home tonight. So if you guys want to stop back by, you are more than welcome to come through. I will absolutely give you candy. No hard feelings at all. But try it again. Try it again.
Sad violins to my ex's bullshit apology text. Hey, I know you're probably never gonna forgive me for what happened, but I wanted a chance to explain. I know it wasn't right that I technically hooked up with your roommate, but I've been going through a lot, and that's not who I am. I've been failing most of my classes, and you know I just got fired. So I would really appreciate if you showed me some sort of sympathy and stopped making me feel like a villain. Plus, you've been really busy at work, and I've been feeling really alone. I was just really missing you, and it was a one-time mistake. I love you so much more than Emily. What am I supposed to tell my family? I'm sorry, okay? Also, did you change the Netflix password?